Chapter 12 Solar Perturbations.
Mission log, Sol 5175. AOS BSN. Message received, source Starlight. Alright, this time go long!
Opportunity watched the small rubber ball encased in Starlight's magic sail through the air, having no trouble following and calculating the path. The rover put its new wheels to good use and took off, effortlessly moving over the grassy field. It swerved, coming to a halt, and put out its new arm, catching the ball after it bounced off the back wall of Twilight's castle. A leisurely drive back across the courtyard saw Oppie return to Starlight's side and depositing the ball next to her. The rover watched her expectantly while Starlight made notes on a clipboard.
Go again?
Starlight giggled.
Don't you think we have enough data to conclusively say your new arm works just fine?
It looked down at the ball, then back to the pony.
Experiment fun. All right,
Starlight relented.
we can play some more catch later. But first, there's another experiment I thought we should do to test your fine motor control.
She picked up her latest kite and hovered it in front of the rover with her magic.
Opportunity no let go this time,
It said, resolutely grabbing the string with its new claw attachment. Starlight smiled. She felt good. The constant headaches and sleepless nights that had intermittently plagued her over the last couple of weeks seemed a distant memory, and she felt the urge to simply enjoy the late summer day with her robotic friend. The testing that worked the last few kinks out of Oppie's new and restored hardware was little more than an excuse to play, really. With the exception of the two instruments that still proved elusive in their function, the rover looked as if it was fresh out of the clean room at JPL.
Hello!
A deep yet feminine voice echoed across the courtyard, and Starlight turned to see two unicorns approaching.
Sunburst!
She immediately went up to the robed wizard who was her oldest friend and caught him in an embrace.
Oh, I thought you weren't coming until later this week.
Ending the hug, she turned to the other arrival.
And you brought your mom. What a surprise. Hello, Auntie Stellar. What brings you here? Hello, Starlight dear. Sunburst had to switch trains and had a stopover in Sire's Hollow. When he told me the reason for his visit, I was intrigued. Is that it?
Stella Flare marched right up to Oppie.
Hello.
The rover introduced himself.
Opportunity.
Sunburst sighed when his mother was out of immediate earshot and engaging the rover in a conversation about progress.
Yeah, she invited herself to come along. Sorry about that. Oh, it's no big deal.
Starlight replied nervously, her ears standing straight up and her eyes scanning the area.
Plenty of space in Twilight's castle. So you stopped by Sire's Hollow?
Sunburst rolled his eyes.
Relax, your dad wasn't there. He was out of town for some kind of meeting with his local history society. Oh, good.
Starlight beamed.
I mean, that's such a shame. What unfortunate timing. Could you maybe not look so happy about the fact that my mom is here while your dad couldn't make it?
Sunburst deadpanned.
Look, son, there's writing.
Stella Flare called out before Starlight could answer and gave him a look that could only be summed up as scheming to get my son a job.
You can put your skills to good use. Maybe your friend Starlight can talk to the princess about getting you a research grant. I already have a full-time job in the Crystal Empire, Mom, Sunburst replied. Well, it never hurts to have something to fall back on.
Sunburst groaned and started to walk over with a giggling Starlight at his side.
I've always wanted to ask you something,
she said in a conspiratorial whisper.
How does she do that?
Do what?
That look with the overbite. The one she uses when she's just made a point and is feeling super smug about it.
Why do you want to know? Does it annoy you as much as it does me?
What?
Starlight was taken aback.
No, I love that look. It's sassy as buck. I want to use it next time I school Twilight in something. Do you think she'd teach me? Don't you have your own look of smug superiority?
He asked, pushing up his glasses with a huff.
Well, yeah, but That's based on my old evil villain smirk. I don't want to use that anymore. Never really worked right without the bangs anyway, she mused. And I've always admired your mom's style.
Sunburst replied. I always felt rather comfortable around your dad, you know. I always enjoyed listening to him go on and on about obscure town history.
Yeah, I've come around to those recently myself. Whenever I can't sleep, I try to remember one of his lectures, and I'm out like a light in minutes. Oh, I just had a marvelous idea,
Stella Flare said in what seemed to be another flash of brilliance.
We should visit the throne room later. Maybe the cutie mark map is waiting for you to show up so I can give you another mission.
Not how it works, Mom, Sunburst replied automatically, then turned back to Starlight with a raised eyebrow. Want to trade? Starlight giggled as they came to a halt in front of Opportunity and Stellar Flare.
Uppy, this is my friend Sunburst,
she introduced him.
He knows a ton of languages. Would you be okay with him examining your markings?
Opportunity looked at Sunburst and then back to Starlight.
Starlight friend is Opportunity friend. Glad to hear it, and nice to meet you,
Sunburst began. Starlight has told me a lot about you.
So, anything you've learned new since your last letter?
He asked Starlight as he took out a new notebook. Starlight thought about that for a moment.
Not much. We've pretty much ruled out Old Ponish, Minotaur A, and Minotaur B, and even Griffozebrakin. Though we did realize that the technical markings seem to include numbers that roughly correspond to Saddle Arabian numerals,
she summed up.
That's not surprising. Any species that can build something like Opportunity would have to have a thorough understanding of mathematics. What about the two prominent labels on the front?
He asked, pointing.
Well, Starlight explained, according to Oppie, they're spelled JPL and NASA, respectively, though we're no closer to learning what they mean. Do you recognize the script? If we can translate the technical writing, maybe I can finally make some headway in figuring out what path my spell took, and find that world again.
Sunburst frowned.
It looks sort of familiar, but it seems to be stylized. Hey, that's what Sunset said. I really should introduce you two sometime. Have a look at these.
She beckoned her friend to step around the rover to see the sundial.
We figured out that this is a representation of Oppie's homeworld, the blue dot being his actual home, and the red one the place I made contact with him, Mars. Although they're written in different languages, we believe this word and all the smaller ones all say Mars.
The wizard examined the words for a while and finally concurred with the conclusion.
Okay, there's not a lot we can learn from that if it's all just one word. It's not really enough to figure out any of the other languages. We should focus on the larger script. I still can't shake the feeling that I know this somehow. What does this other part say? Say 2 worlds, 1 sun, Opportunity replied. Is why Opportunity measure time in soul.
Sunburst blinked rapidly.
Wait, that word, soul, what is it? A soul?
Starlight asked.
That's what Oppie calls a day, but I don't really know why. Soul, where have I heard that before? He muttered. So a soul is a day? That doesn't sound right. What defines a day? Well, a day is just the time it takes Celestia to move the sun around the entire planet, isn't it?
Stellar Flare, who had remained silent during the actual examination so far, pointed out.
You know, if you get right down to it.
Sunburst's head snapped around to her with wide eyes.
Sunburst? What is it?
Starlight asked.
Did you figure something out? The sun!
He yelled.
Mother, you're a genius! Sol doesn't mean day, it means sun! Now I remember where I heard it. Where? Thorax!
He turned to stare at the words on the sundial again.
And I know this script! It's ancient changeling! Changeling?
Starlight asked in bafflement.
Like Kevin?
Oppie chimed in, remembering the story Cranky had told him.
Yes!
Sunburst confirmed with a vigorous nod.
When Thorax was living in the Crystal Empire, he taught me some ancient changeling. Sol Invicta, the unconquered sun. That's what they called Celestia 1,000 years ago. So, can you translate it? Starlight asked with a huge grin. We can finally figure out how to contact Obby's creators?
2 sets of pony eyes and 1 set of high-resolution cameras turned on him.
I'm afraid not,
he admitted, looking over the notes he'd made. Starlight's ears folded back against her head almost immediately, and she suppressed a disappointed whimper.
Oh. Look,
Sunburst said in an effort to remain positive.
Thorax only ever taught me a couple words, and I don't see any of them here. But I do recognize the characters, and I'm positive that at least some of them are from the ancient changeling's alphabet. That's still progress. You could ask Thorax himself to take a look. I guess,
Starlight said with little enthusiasm. She felt Meta against her foreleg as Oppie caught her attention.
Opportunity can wait, it said. 15 years on Mars. Learn patience.
It held the string of the kite to her, remembering a moment they'd shared on the roof of the castle.
Starlight say fly kite relax. Mission goal, fun.
The unicorn smiled in return.
You're right. There's no hurry, and I promise to teach you how to fly a kite today. I'll write to Thorax later, and we'll take it from there.
She turned to Sunburst and Stellar Flare.
Feel like joining us?
To His Majesty, King Thorax, High Praetorius, Changeling Federation. From Starlight Glimmer, Castle Road 1, Ponyville, Equestria.
Dear Thorax, I apologize for writing to you when you told me in your last letter that you were busy with matters of state and likely would be out of the hive for a while. I do hope you're well and whatever's keeping you busy will resolve itself soon. On the off chance that this letter does reach you, however, there's a request I have to make. Thanks to our friend Sunburst, I've had a major breakthrough in possibly finding the origin of opportunity. It appears some of the script I've mentioned to you before might possibly be a form of ancient changeling. I know it's a wild notion, since I'm convinced at this point that opportunity could not have possibly originated from the hive, or anywhere else on Equus for that matter. Perhaps it's just a coincidence, but I'd like to check with you just in case. I've enclosed a transcription of all the markings, and I'd be grateful for any documentation you can offer on the changeling language, as our own scholars don't know anything about it other than a few select words. Trust me, I scoured Twilight's library from top to bottom on the subject. The few words and phrases you taught Sunburst are tenfold what was previously known to pony linguists. Where did it come from? How long was it in use? Is there any connection to any other languages known to us? Your friend, Starlight Glimmer.
Later that night, a knock on the door made Starlight look up from her desk.
Come in, it's open,
she called. When she turned, she spotted a wall-eyed mare with a friendly smile and a postal uniform in the doorframe.
Ah, Derpy, perfect timing. Give me a sec.
Derpy nodded and walked over to Opportunity, who had moved to the other side of the room to play a round of solitaire while Starlight had been penning her letter.
Hello, Opportunity.
The male mare greeted the Rover and patted his panoramic camera.
How are you today?
Opportunity well,
the Rover replied.
Fly kite today. Meet 2 new friends.
That's great. Here, I've got some of my lunch left. You can have it.
Derpy managed to rummage through her bag and brought out a blueberry muffin that looked only slightly stale, putting it in front of the Rover. Opportunity rocked back and forth happily on its wheelbase.
Thank you. Opportunity like blueberry. Remind Opportunity of Mars.
Derpy watched the Rover examine the muffin as if the secret to life on Mars itself was contained within it, and smiled. It didn't take long for Starlight to join them, having finished and sealed her letter.
Here you go,
she said, hoofing the small parcel over. The gray Pegasus received it with her usual care and stowed it away in her bag, bringing out a small package in turn.
And this is for you. Oh.
Starlight took hold of it and turned it around.
Who's it from? There's no address. Jewel Sky. She asked me to drop it off. Oh!
Starlight's eyes lit up as she tore away at the paper.
I've been waiting for this. Strange, though. Jewel Sky usually makes it a point to hoof deliver her work.
Derpy nodded.
I know, but she's been feeling a little under the weather today. Something about a headache. But she asked me to take it when I delivered her mail today. Oh, I hope she feels better soon.
Starlight grinned as she gingerly lifted the silver necklace out of its box to examine it.
I need to thank her in person. That's pretty,
Derpy commented, watching the piece of jewelry float in the air.
Isn't it?
Starlight held it up for Oppie to see as well.
Do you recognize it? It's the gift you gave me. I had Jewel set it into a necklace for me. This way I can always keep it close to my heart.
She trotted over to her dresser, glancing at the new picture from today adorning her mirror that showed her with Oppie, Sunburst, and Stellar Flare. Unhooking the clasp with her magic, she put the pendant around her neck and admired the effect.
Starlight pretty,
Opportunity said simply. She gave him a smile, pressing the ornament against herself as she felt a warm feeling wash over her.
Thank you, Oppie.